welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me on this first phase of the Bramble Cottage kitchen build. It's going to be really fun and I hope helpful if you're about to embark on your own transformation. As many of you know, miniatures.com is closing this June, and so I rushed to purchase these pretty doors and windows, 2 of which I'll use in this room. I like this little window because I think it's going to let in a lot of natural light from the future dining area. I am placing the Bramble Cottage kitchen in the front half of the large room on the lower level of this dollhouse, which means I need to split that room into 2. So I used MDF boards to create the dividing wall, an opening for the doorway into the future dining room, and a small cutout for the window that will allow for more natural light to flow from that space into the kitchen. Once I made the cuts, I made an additional cut for the small window. It was pretty easy. I just measured and then used like a set of tools to cut through it. It's not very thick, and so this part was not too bad. Once it was complete, I made sure that everything fit, that I didn't need to make any adjustments. I also made 2 small holes because in the future, this is where I will run the electrical cables for the sconces that I'm putting in this space. I also used a regular piece of paper to create a template that I could then put on top of sheet wood that I purchased also from miniatures.com in order to kind of create a really smooth surface so that I can attach wallpaper in the future. The MDF boards are great. You can caulk them, sand them, and do things to it so that you get the finish you're after. However, I think this is a simpler way for me, and it allows me to hide the cables when I run electrical in this room. So I have a feeling I'll be doing this throughout the home. Once I made all the markings that I needed, I used an X-Acto knife to easily cut the sheet wood in the shape that I needed. It did not take a very long time. It was pretty simple to do, and it was very exciting to see this particular phase complete. Here's a glimpse of what it could potentially look like at night. The next step was to paint the small window and the door frame. But before doing that, I did want to add a small piece of trim around the window so that it would be similar to the trim that will be around the doors throughout the home. Not this opening specifically from the kitchen into the dining room, but the other doorways do have like a small piece of trim that's pretty simple, but it does stick out and it just looks really just very pretty. So I am trying to replicate that here by using a little bit of glue and some trim pieces. I'll list everything in the description box below. And again, this process was pretty simple to do. Once I finished that part, I went ahead and started painting the doorway and the window. Here I'm using Sherwin-Williams natural linen. It's a color I used in the small kitchen that I did in my collaboration with miniatures.com. I absolutely love the color, and so I wanted to kind of bring that into this kitchen as well. I added a clear top coat and a clear satin just to give it a sheen. Since this is going to be a doorway and a window, I thought it should look a bit different. Another purchase that I made from miniatures.com were kitchen cabinets for the space. These are from their latest collection. Now, I think I purchased more than I needed because I did not measure correctly, but these cabinets are so pretty. I am building a corner cabinet and a 2-inch cabinet with a door and a drawer. This is the 2-inch cabinet that I'm building. They are easy to put together and I think really good quality, and they are easy to paint. Building the corner cabinet followed many of the same steps as constructing like the 2-inch cabinet, but it was a bit more intense, and you do have to be very careful to read the instructions and follow the steps that they set out. If you miss anything, you may have to take things apart and put them back together, which happened to me twice. So definitely read those instructions and take your time. You'll see that once it was complete, I did fill a few holes where I had made some mistakes. I will be sanding those down in the future. I also am not installing the countertop for either one of these cabinets because I will be using an acrylic countertop that is going to mimic the look of marble. So it's a last step for both of the cabinets that you can skip if that's something that you're doing. I painted both of these cabinets in Sherwin-Williams Sycamore tan. It is a beautiful mushroom-like color, a bit brown, a bit gray, but it's just the perfect tone I felt for this kitchen. And I followed the same steps I do for everything else, where I paint one coat, sand, clean them, and then give them a second coat. Unlike the doorway and the kitchen, I did not add a clear top coat to these cabinets. I do like the texture that the paint gave them, so I left them alone. So one of the things I was looking forward to the most was kind of finalizing which wallpaper I will use in the space. Unfortunately, I have not made a decision, but I started by purchasing these 3 samples from Cobble Hill Miniatures on Etsy. They are beautiful, the quality is really great. I used one as an example for this video. I don't know how I feel about it, but obviously let me know in the comments below if you have a favorite. They're all wonderful. This piece of faux marble I purchased from an Etsy shop, which I'll link down below. It is just stunning, and the brown tones in it I think will pair really well with the kitchen cabinet color, as well as the other elements that I'm selecting for this space. So I really look forward to seeing it all put together, which will not be for now, but I am very excited. To attach the wallpaper to the sheet wood, I am using permanent double-sided adhesive sheet tape from Amazon. I'll link everything down below in case you're interested. I found it to be very simple to use and pretty mess-free, which is always a plus. I do have to say it can be a little tricky to remove the paper from the sticky side. Your fingers get caught a bit, you do have to be careful, but it wasn't too difficult and it didn't take very long. Once the paper was attached, I cut out the excess pieces. These corners that have a little bit of extra material will not show. It's where the door and the window go. And here's a first look at some of the elements in the space. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.